It's daytime with Aston Avery. Stephen Smith joins me. And Stephen, you're going to be introducing our next guest who's with us right now.
Yeah, I am indeed. Oh, you're going to love her. She's new to the show. She turns heads everywhere she goes. But don't judge a book by its cover, because she's not quite what she seems. She's not only a tattoo model, she's also a fantastic mom and someone that you're just going to love and everyone's going to love. It's Blue. Hi, Blue.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, great. So nice to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Blue, you've got to say, you're a tattoo model. You look incredible. When did you get your first tattoo?
Believe it or not, I was actually quite old. She says at 52. I was 30 actually when I got my first tattoo, and I think quite a lot of people that are heavily tattooed will tell you they're very addictive.
Yeah.
I have about 48 now.
No, 48.
Yeah.
Did you count them?
Well, other people have.
Listen, so you got to ask. You were 38 when you had the first tattoo. What made you suddenly decide I need to get a tattoo?
Do you know, it's actually been covered up now, but it sort of stems to the neurodiversity and autism, because I found this quote and it said, "What makes us different is our greatest strength."
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just something about the quote. It was quite empowering. So that was the first tattoo that I had.
And were you scared having it done the first time?
No, not at all. A lot of people have the misconception that people that are tattooed like pain, but the needle is like 1.5 millimeters. Yeah. So when you go to the hospital and you have blood taken, the needles are really long. It's nothing like being tattooed. It's actually quite, for me, it's quite therapeutic.
Oh, wow.
So that being said here, Blue, as well, obviously you came up with the name Blue. How? Was it before you dyed your hair blue at the same time, or was it because of a different matter that you decided to be called Blue?
No, and hi, nice to meet you. No, actually, it's got nothing to do with my hair colour. I'm a Buddhist, and I changed my name legally about 7 years ago to Blue, and Blue means to be mindful. And then the blue hair, that came from doing the tattoo conventions, because I was competing with my friend Draco, who's an artist, and he has a red, white and blue Mohican. Right. So I thought, let me go blue and have a blue Mohican, but he beat me because his was longer. So no. And I've had it tattooed on my face now, my name, because it's quite funny. I know it's an unusual name, but lots of people say, "Is that your real name?" And I'm like, "Yes, what's your name?" And they'll say, "It's Sharon." I'll say, "But is that your real name?" So it's a bit of a joke really now, but yeah, it's because of my religion. Well, not my religious beliefs, because it's not a religion, but because of my way of thinking. But the blue hair just works. It covers the grey.
Yeah.
We've come across this, and obviously you've mentioned this as well here, Blue, that Stephen's probably told you on the quiet that I've been living with autism my whole life, and I understand it plays a large role in your life too. How does it play a large role?
Yeah, I'm neurodiverse. We use the term neurodiverse in our house. I was diagnosed at 49. Joy. There was no point really, because I've got this far. But my younger son, he was non-verbal until he was 8, and I think I used to be a school teacher, and I think you just instinctively know. And he would struggle with sound and light, but it took me 14 years of fighting the system to get him diagnosed. And he's the beautifulest child, but yeah, I mean, we embrace it, but unfortunately, even in 2020, as you know, a lot of society doesn't embrace it. Like, they don't dim lights in supermarkets. They don't, have quiet zones for people that struggle with sound and light. So I think society has a long way to go actually before it embraces being different, and embrace it, because there's some wonderful people. Sir Anthony Hopkins was diagnosed at 72.
Absolutely. That's why Aston and I are involved in the Kennedy Online. Obviously Aston and living with autism, and I got involved because I just couldn't believe how uneducated people were about the subjects, and I wanted to share with as many people as possible. And I've been doing it for 6 years now. Aston, how long have you been involved?
Well, probably, obviously, a little less longer than you, Stephen, of course, with the charity Anna Kennedy Online, but obviously living through it, as you know, anyway. So that's probably, I'm used to it a lot longer, living with it, but being involved in Anna Kennedy Online, a little less longer than you.
Yeah, it's interesting also to talk about the blue there, but being different. How did people react to you in the street when you have so many tattoos? Do you find it all positive?
No, actually, good question, Steve. No, I've always, so apart from the tattoos, I've had a shaved head since I was about 12. Yeah. I'm 52 now. Yeah. And always looked different, but that's not been a conscious, I want to look different. I want to look like this. I'm just blue, which is why I say I'm just blue. Actually, I would say that in the last couple of years, unless I'm in the tattoo world or meet lovely people like yourself, that are accepting and understanding and can look beyond the tattoos and the piercings, if I'm just going down the road or in a shop, I get judged terribly. Yeah. It's I would say 80% negatively, unless I'm in.
I hate that. Oh.
Yeah, really, really negatively, because even though a lot of my tattoos say teach peace, and I have Buddhas and obviously Frida Kahlo, as you know, and, they don't take the time to read the ink. They don't take the time to look past it and the meanings. And actually, sort of got to that stage where now I actually don't see I'm that extreme. When I was at the tattoo convention a while ago, everybody wanted my photograph and I went on magazines and everything. Yeah. And I was like, why? Because I'm just blue. I don't get it, because I don't see what other people see. I am just me. Yeah. But it's negative, unfortunately, most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame that people judge a book by its cover first right away and decide what someone is or decide. I think also, I mean, let's face it, back in the day, if I come back home with a tattoo, my mother would have fainted. She would have had, one thing she said, don't do anything, don't have a tattoo. Right? It was seen as aggression or something like that. And now, of course, every street corner has a tattoo parlor. And every kid, I mean, if you go out in Camden, every other, I'm abnormal because I don't have a tattoos visible in the area I live, because all the.
You're not abnormal, darling. You're perfect the way you are.
I don't think it goes with freckles. You see tattoos, but I'll ask you. So, for parents whose kids are going to have tattoos, what's the safest way of getting a tattoo done?
Well, my advice would be the less you pay, the less quality of tattoo you're going to get. And unfortunately, I have made that mistake in the last 22 years. I do have some that aren't that great. Yeah. And also you have a lot of people, because you have to be licensed. There's not really many regulations actually to do piercings and tattoos. You have to be 18 to be tattooed in this country. Yeah. And you have to, professionals would have to have a license, and you have to have a sterile environment, and that all has to be certificated. But I've noticed that because obviously society has changed because of the pandemic, and because there's lots of people struggling, that there are people that can't afford to run shops, and so they do tattoos in people's houses. So my advice to that would be, we call them scratchers, and people that work in the tattoo world, we don't agree with that, because they could be tattooing you in the kitchen with a dog walking around. It's not a sterile environment. Yeah. The risk of infection is very, very high. And so I would say, yes, it might cost you a lot of money to get a really good, amazing tattoo. But you know what? Your life is worth so much more, and you're left with that for life.
Yeah, and I think that you hitting something there with being sterile and licensed. So many things in this country we don't check the licenses from beauticians even, and it's important to go with someone licensed and to take a bit of time, not do it on spec. So you see so many of these TV programs where the guy falls into Ibiza and drunkenly has a tattoo on his bum. And
I can't breathe.
We all laugh about the program. We research what you're doing, I think, don't you?
And yeah, I actually can't breathe now. You just said that. Apart from the fact that I would love to be in Ibiza, you can, if anyone tattoos you when you're drunk, they shouldn't be a tattooist. Firstly, because that affects the blood flow in your body. Never go abroad and get a tattoo. Never, ever, ever. That is my opinion. Unless you have done your research and you know they're, an accredited studio. Don't get drunk and get a tattoo on your bottom because you think it's cool and all your mates are doing it. And actually, I've worked in quite a few shops managing them, and the amount of youngsters that I've seen. So my son is almost 18, and I can't, obviously for confidentiality reasons, but I can't tell you the whole story. But an 18-year-old came to me and he was crying because somebody had tattooed "I am nothing" on his hands. And they'd spelt nothing wrong. So aside from the fact that a reputable tattooist would never tattoo an 18-year-old on their hand, and he clearly had mental health problems, and they spelt it wrong, and we couldn't do anything about it. And he just cried, and I went into mum zone and I cried. And now there are tattooists and there are tattoo artists. Find an artist, not a tattooist who just wants your money, because that young boy has got to look at "I am nothing" for the rest of his life. And so it's a roller coaster of emotions, the tattoo world.
You can have it lasered off now, can't you?
You can, but if you think about it, Steve,
yeah,
he's gone somewhere and he's had that done cheaply. And so to have it lasered is really expensive.
Yeah, of course.
How is he going to afford that?
I mean, it's just horrible. I mean,
it's really sad, but there are people out there just want the money.
Allowed to do. We've got to talk about piercings, won't we, Aston? It's similar to that, isn't it? Keeping it hygienic.
Similar to that, piercings, and obviously we mentioned about Frida Kahlo as well, which we've discussed as well. So you're Stirling Bikes here, Blue. So can you tell us a bit about that?
The Stirling Bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was at a tattoo studio one day, and one of our clients was showing me these amazing eco bikes, and I was fascinated because they airbrush them, and it's highly connected to the art world, as Steve would know, because that's where I met Steve. And they're just incredible. And so I contacted them and I said, look, I would love to be part of your project.
Yeah.
And so I'm now sort of like spearheading these bikes, and I'm on posters.
Yeah.
Don't throw darts.
No, I've got my pinned up.
Have you? Oh, you're
not the face of, you're the body of.
Oh, bless you. Oh, I don't know about that, love. Maybe when the lights are down. But it says, so basically, they've got quite an unconventional approach. And so I went to the company, Stirling, and I met Rob and Anne-Marie and you, darling. And they're just such beautiful people.
Yeah.
And then I did this modeling thing and ended up on these flyers, basically. So we're running one of the competitions that we're running is because tattoos are more in the mainstream now. And like you said, everybody has them. There's tattoo shops everywhere.
Yeah.
So when I first started, it was, it was a way of life. It was our culture. It was completely different. But now, everybody wants one. And so what we're trying to say is that, when you run out of skin, you can actually have a bike.
Yeah. Which I think probably. Well, Aston, would you have a tattoo, Dolly?
Oh, really? I'll do.
No! I'll hold your hand.
Who knows?
I
think his mum Don would come running down and kill us both of you in a tattoo.
Oh well, then don't, darling, don't. Well, my son turns 18 in 2 weeks, and he's been telling me since the age of 9 what tattoo he's having.
Oh, well, you can have that then, see. But listen, I'm just going to talk about your Frida Kahlo tattoo, which is on Blue's back. It's incredible. And Frida Kahlo is my favorite artist. How long did it take to do the tattoo?
I never knew that.
Yes, it's my favorite artist. I'm going to run and get something really quickly.
Where are you going?
I don't know where he's going, to be fair, but he's obviously
running. That's
Frida
just showing
Kahlo,
off,
and I think he's
Stephen.
grabbing the painting or something of Frida Kahlo, and that's his favourite artist.
Well, I'm packing to move house at the moment, but I've got Frida everywhere and obviously on my back. And there's a, I don't want to use the pun, there's a backstory, but there is a backstory. So I broke my back. I was paralysed for 8 years, and I've had 43 spinal surgeries. And when you can't move, you start researching. And I came across Frida. And for me, it's not just her art, it's everything about her. And her life story is very similar to mine. And the way she suffered, but yet she was such a powerful woman and an incredible artist who sadly wasn't recognized for her brilliance until she passed. And she passed very young. She was about 47 when she died. But so I started reading about her, and she's the one. I'm not very passionate about lots of things, but actually Frida is, I mean, not now because I'm packing the house, but everywhere you go in my house there's Frida, because she's such an inspiration to me. What a lot of people don't know is that she spent most of her life in bed. And her dad beat her, and look at that.
This is a little Frida Kahlo cup. It's a holder. I got it at the Crescent in Brighton, which is a wonderful bar and eatery. I go with my mum too. My mum actually bought this for me, but I absolutely adore it.
And do you know what? It's beautiful. You know what's absolutely insane about that?
Yeah, well.
So I have about 40 of her canvases in my home.
Yeah.
And I have fabric hanging, I have cushions. Yeah. And my favorite, she only ever did her face mostly, but in her books, she does her spine and the sad parts of her life.
Yeah.
But she always did her face. And actually the picture that's on your one, where I'm sitting, I have that canvas, which I've just taken down. That's my favorite Frida Kahlo piece of art that you've got there.
So that's that really, and I think he's
and it took 8 hours. Sorry.
So also we go. So I'll pick one of these up for you.
I love you. Thank you.
We have to wrap it up, I'm afraid.
Okay.
It's been fantastic having you on the show, and you must come.
Pleasure as well.
And great news. Mum said you could have a tattoo, Aston.
Oh. You just messaged.
I'll take you to people that I know. You'll be totally safe, darling. And check out Stirling Bikes if anyone hasn't.
Stephen is the best. Put on your arm.
Or just
thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me. Lovely talking to you.
Good luck with the
Lots
move.
of love.
Bye, darling. Bye.
Bye. See you soon, darling. Bye, Aston.
Bye.
Bye, Stephen.
Bye.
Bye.